Amusing and informative in equal measures. Who knew Dundee United committed such disdain in Nigeria? Oliver Kahn, The Times. Oh, hey, Soccerholics fans. This book here, Do You Speak Football? Highly recommend. It's been one of my favorite books that I've been reading right now. But book aside and knowledge about football, we got to discuss about one of the most important topics on my mind right now, and that is the Ballon d'Or. Let's wake up, folks. Ronaldo and Messi, they're not part of the final three. I know you guys have been used to it. Do you guys remember who the last winner was? I do. Kaká. That's how long ago it's been. It's been so long since we can actually say a different name than, oh, Ronaldo's going to win it this year or Messi's going to win it this year. It's almost like this video needs to happen because I feel like you guys have to be re-educated on how the Ballon d'Or gets determined. For me, this is, of course, my opinion, of course. And, of course, it's going to be a little bit biased because if you look at the contestants this year, we got 2 Frenchmen out of 3. So, of course, I'm cheering for a Frenchman, but who knows? Maybe the Croatian man, Luka Modric, after sweeping up FIFA's award, maybe he'll sweep up this award as well. Nonetheless, my criteria is very simple. So 25%, that's based off of the cups. So Champions League, your FA Cups, your domestic cups, your little small cups that you have as well. 25%, the player's performance in there, regardless if he's scoring goals, standout performances and preventing his team from conceding to go far, because we have to include defenders or if goalies, they make outstanding saves, they carry their teams there. That's what matters. That's that first 25%. The middle 25% is what us fans always watch, which is the domestic league. Now, this is where I can let some leeway be in this exact format. It could be 25, it could be 50% depending on the season because let's be honest, the World Cup only happens once every 4 years. And then the European competitions happen once every 4 years, but they're staggered. So, of course, some years we're not going to have like that international competition. So, of course, maybe in those years, I like to say maybe the domestic league leads ways to maybe like 50%. So, for instance, Salah, let's say this was a non-World Cup year. I think he would be a Final 3 player for this year. But this year, because of the World Cup and because of his lack of performance with Egypt, and I think because the World Cup is such a big, is the most treasured trophy for a player to represent his nation. Just like how Champions League's the most treasured trophy for a person that plays for a club. And I think both of those kind of fluctuate with each other. So in this case here, for this year, I'm going to say 25% for domestic. So yes, I get it. Messi won La Liga and everything. That's great and all. But even though he brought Argentina to the knockout round, he didn't take them all the way. And that's why Messi isn't in the final 3. And the same can be said for Ronaldo, even though they did really good in the group stages. And of course, the last 50% is the World Cup. Or in this case, your Euros, your Copa Americas, all those types of tournaments for your respective nations within their continent. Based on how a player performs during the summer, I think that fluctuates how the Ballon d'Or is going to be voted for. So let's go on to our contestants here. Our contestants this year out of the 30 list, and I think we had 8 Real Madrid players, which to be honest right now, they're only just finding form because they're hungover. Because players nowadays, and this is another video for another day, but to summarize it really short for you guys, I think we have too much soccer. But for the players that were able to perform at the highest level, Varane for France and Real Madrid, Luka Modric for Croatia and Real Madrid, and Kylian Mbappe for PSG and France. They've done an outstanding job in the games that they played, which I think all 3 of those players played at least over 60 games this year for club and country. So, to be honest, it's kind of going to be obvious if they're a bit tired now. And that's fair, but it's not a video game where they have unlimited stamina and every game they're going to be playing at the highest level. But now to actually dig deeper into the topic of the Ballon d'Or, which one of these 3 guys deserves the win? We look at Luka Modric, he's already won the award from FIFA, so most people are probably going to say that he's the favorite right now. And he's the popular guy because, he's 32, he hasn't got his recognition, he's underrated, he's a Alexander Pirlo, he influences the midfield, he's starting to chip in with goals, look at how he's been doing it for Real Madrid. To be honest, last season was probably his poorest season out of his time at Real Madrid. I think the only reason why he's here is because of that 50% and what he did to inspire Croatia to get in there. And then you add in that 25% as well from the Champions League. Of course they won. That's fantastic and that's great. And then of course, Real Madrid, they qualified for Champions League. So of course, domestically is where they dropped the ball. We moved to Kylian Mbappe so that way we can move away from Real Madrid. PSG, they won Liga, but trust me, Liga is a good league and I will constantly keep defending that. But when PSG's on their day, it's really tough to not go against PSG, and I know that, and I'll be honest, I'll be a realist as well. but there's competition there in Liga. And Kylian Mbappe, he did an outstanding job since moving from Monaco to PSG, the bigger team, performing there. He kind of let them down, I feel, in my opinion, in Champions League because PSG got knocked out early. They didn't go as far as all the big names that they brought in with the Neymars and, Kylian Mbappe. And then Cavani was already there. And then they have Verratti. They can never get him fit. Thiago Motta, he retired recently as well. And we had Thiago Silva. There's a very stacked team there of outstanding athletes, the best. So the fact that they can't get it to click there is very frustrating, and that kind of also hurts Kylian Mbappe because he almost has to carry that team, essentially. Thankfully, they did win the World Cup, which is, of course, the big 50%, and that's why Kylian Mbappe is in there, because he did an outstanding job there. Of course, the trademark game for everyone was against Argentina, where he blitzed them, and he literally changed the game. And, of course, he scored in the final. Like, the last guy to do that was Pele, the guy that I didn't get to see play, but I've been told he's really good. So at least I got to see Kylian Mbappe score at 19 in the World Cup final. What have you been doing when you've been 19? I don't know what I was doing. Nevertheless, we go to Varane, which I think is, for some people, they know he's good, but they don't acknowledge he's good. And if you look at his pedigree and his list of the awards that he's won at 25, I think the Ballon d'Or is a perfect way to complete his trophy case. I know what you're saying. Why should a defender win it? Oh, well, don't forget Cannavaro won it once, remember? And we've had one goalkeeper win it once, even though it was a political term back in like the 1970s and such. But more or less, I think if Varane wins the Ballon d'Or, and this is my pick, I think this will open up the conversation away from goals and assists, which is what I think, due to Ronaldo and Messi's ridiculous numbers, which are almost video game-like, which we've just kind of accepted to be the norm, I think we've gone away from what the discussion should have been. And based off of that formula which I laid out, I think Varane has the strongest case. I think he was an outstanding, consistent performer for Real Madrid during the domestic season, because if he wasn't and they were conceding goals, they don't get back in the Champions League. They don't finish in that top 4 position that they did. You look at the Champions League run, they wouldn't have gone as far as they did, thanks to Zizou, of course, but Varane was a key part with that beside, Sergio Ramos. And of course in France, then when he had Umtiti in the back as well, never left the side there, scored a crucial goal in the quarterfinals as well, and led the country as well as captain several times as well. So he's a silent leader. He isn't a Pogba, he isn't a Griezmann where he's the face, but he's a quiet leader that did his job. And for me, Varane deserves, based off of his performances, based off of his resume, and based off of the facts. He won Champions League. He got Real Madrid, even though technically Real Madrid should be always winning La Liga. That's the fans' ambitions. They got back into a Champions League spot, and they won the World Cup. Like, you can't beat that. Mbappe, yes, okay, he won the league title, but did he win Champions League? If you're a fan, what do you care more about, winning your league or Champions League? Last time I checked, the fact that we're all upset that FIFA now has Champions League, I think you care more about Champions League than winning your league title. So that's why Varane deserves it. Yes, it looks better for the paper and the headlines that Kylian Mbappe wins it at 19, but where does his career go from there if he wins it at 19? I think he still needs to prove himself. I think if he wins the Ballon d'Or, I think he's going to be way too arrogant and egotistical. Even though he's been very well sheltered, I think it's not there. And to be honest, Luka Modric, he's already got his recognition from FIFA, so I think the fairest result is to give it to Varane. But if you guys don't agree with me, make videos about it, because let's be honest, you guys don't really talk a lot. I'm usually the one that's talking a lot, so I want to hear back from you guys. You guys watch this video, you at least sat this long to get to this point. Post in the comments, make a video, DM us, get back to us on this, because, it's 1 out of 3 for you to be right. I could be right, you could be right. So let me find out what you guys like. And if there's any other topics that you guys want me to go rant on about, or that you guys have opinions and maybe want to see, let me know. But either way, I gotta wrap this up, guys. You already know that Varane's gonna win it. I'm the biggest biased French fan that you're ever gonna meet. And yes, I am trolling you guys, but come on, you love it. It's Chris here, your host from SoccerholicsTV, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you guys. Cheers.